thanks for joining us. Dr. Boulos, this is an issue clearly that is very close to your heart. You have been quietly working, we understand, speaking to people in Michigan, persuading this specific electorate to vote Republican. Are you the man who almost single-handedly could win Michigan for Donald Trump?
Well, first of all, good evening, Anna, and thank you for inviting me. It's a big pleasure to be with you. Yes, we've been working on Michigan. I've spent a lot of time there with my community. They are my brothers, my sisters. They are family to me, and they have become definitely family to me. I've spent probably about 5 or 6 months with them. The community there is quite diverse. You have seen in your beautiful report people from Yemen, from Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Egypt, and so on. It's quite a diverse community, and while your report focuses mainly on the Muslim community, but there's quite a huge Christian community as well, Christians that come from Iraq and Lebanon and Egypt and other places. They are quite influential as well in this, especially in this election cycle. So you can see that the tide is turning. There's a huge wave. There's a huge shift towards the Republican Party and towards President Trump. I must say here that historically speaking, mainly due to conservative values and other economic factors and so on, most of the Arab American communities or voters used to vote Republican in the past, but this changed, unfortunately, post 9/11. Post 9/11, we've seen especially the Muslim and Arab American communities shift towards the Democrat Party until now. Now there's a considerable shift for mainly 2 reasons, but also a third one, which is the same. The third one is basically all the other matters that affect every single U.S. citizen and resident in the United States. The first 2 are the social values, and you could see from your report the major issues that our communities are facing with the woke ideology. And the second one is the war in the Middle East. They've seen the huge difference in the approach and in the track record of the 2 administrations. And they've seen Donald Trump for 4 years in the White House. There were no wars. He was the only president in modern history that didn't start any war. He ended wars, he withdrew US troops, and he's a man of peace. He's the only one in recent history who was able to achieve 4 Abraham Accords, and he was about to achieve the 5th one with Saudi Arabia, and many other countries Arab countries were lined up.
Obviously fell on Joe Biden's watch in the end. But fundamentally, in terms of the rhetoric that we've heard from Donald Trump, this is really extraordinary. If we merely glance back to 2016, Mr. Trump declaring a ban on Muslims from, half a dozen or so countries arriving in America, a ban he's recently promised to reinstate, a man who now talks about bad genes arriving with migrants to America. Have people just forgotten what he's done and what he says, or is this simply a new generation of voters that doesn't remember 2016 to 2020?
That's an excellent question, and thank you for asking me this question. The so-called Muslim ban, this was a reference used by the media, unfortunately. It was a program that was started by President Obama. President Trump continued with this program, of course, but he initially had a 90-day pause just to assess the situation. It only affected 6 Arab countries plus Iran. And those were war-torn countries in which there was extreme difficulty in verifying documents and information.
Refugee status in America, for example. War-torn countries, I mean, people who need help, like now, for example?
And it was a high level of vetting. It wasn't really a ban. It was just a high level of vetting because of these documents and information were really very hard to obtain and vet. Number 2, those 6... oh, absolutely. Can you imagine if people can go into any other country without being vetted, whether they are from the Middle East or from Europe or from any other country? That's not the point. In fact, most of the people that were affected by this program were actually Christians from Iraq and Syria. If you look at the statistics, many more Christians were affected in Iraq and Syria than Muslims. And then if you look at the Muslim population around the globe, Muslims are more than 2 billion in number. The countries affected do not account more than 1% of the global Muslim population. So you had the 99% of Muslims continue to come to the United States without any issue, without any
Dr. Boulos,
delay.
I don't mean to rush you. I want to get onto the current conflict, if you don't mind. You've held dozens of meetings, some suggest up to 100, with Arab American and Muslim voters, Arab American, including Christians, as you pointed out, in Michigan. What do you tell them Donald Trump will do if he wins? Will he say to Netanyahu, go ahead, finish the job, or enough is enough? Are we clear? Are they clear on what he would do?
Yeah, first of all, President Trump has made it very clear he's against those wars, and he strongly believes that these wars should not have happened, and they wouldn't have happened had he been in the White House. He strongly believes that these wars have happened mainly because we have a very weak administration. We have a weak president and weak administration in the White House. They have also released, as we know, hundreds of billions of dollars between the Obama administration and the Biden-Harris administration. They've released over $350 billion to Iran, which allowed Iran to finance their proxies in Lebanon, Hezbollah, and then Hamas in Gaza, and the Houthis in Yemen.
Right, Doctor, I do apologise for interrupting you, but what is his policy? Let's just listen, first of all, to what he said arriving on the tarmac just on Friday.
Well, look, he's doing a good job. Biden is trying to hold him back. Just so you understand, Biden is far superior to the VP. He's trying to hold him back, and he probably should be doing the opposite, actually. I'm glad that VP decided to do what he had to do, but it's moving along pretty good. Everything's moving along.
Well, there we go, suggesting there that Joe Biden is holding back Benjamin Netanyahu, clearly not about to pull support from the Israeli government, even in the past defending the legality of Israeli settlements in the West Bank, even moving the US embassy to Jerusalem. There's not a lot on offer there for Palestinians or indeed Lebanese people currently watching the rout of Hezbollah in their country.
Yeah. Thanks also for this tough question, but it's not tough because it's very easy. President Trump believes in peace, and when he talks about the speed, yes, he wants this to end very quickly. He wants in any case, the Hamas issue has practically ended. What we still need, the United States still needs to get the hostages back. Let's not forget, we still have 5 U.S. hostages that we hope are still alive. I mean, we had 8, and 3 have since been confirmed to be dead. We still have 5 hostages that we hope will be released. But that's with regards to the United States, and any president ought to have this as a top priority, getting the hostages back. But with regards to finishing the war quickly, whether it's in Gaza or in Lebanon, yes, President Trump supports finishing this job very quickly. I talk to Palestinians every day, and I talk to Lebanese and Yemenis and people from the region. They want this war to be over. And what do we mean by finish it quickly? You have some military targets that you have to accomplish, which is to get rid of the Hamas infrastructure and ability to launch new attacks and so on. This is what he means. Finish those.
Have you seen northern Gaza? Have you seen people forced from northern Gaza? Have you seen southern Lebanon,
yes.
your own country?
Yes.
You know, what
I've
happens now if Netanyahu decides to persist and pursue Hezbollah in the same way that he has pursued Hamas? What would happen to Lebanon? What do you say then to Arab Americans about the potential for the war in Lebanon in the months to come?
What I tell them is we need a strong U.S. president to stop these wars, to put an end to these wars through peace.
How?
President Trump's doctrine is peace through strength, and his main aim and target is to achieve peace in the Middle East, lasting peace. Yes, it's very tough. From a humanitarian point of view, it's very, very sad. And even President Trump is very saddened, and he has expressed that he doesn't like to see any civilian death. And the civilian deaths we've seen on both sides, whether it's the Israeli or the Palestinian side, and definitely now in Lebanon, is extremely sad on all sides. And he doesn't want to see any more civilian death. He wants these wars to be over. But for these wars to be over, of course, we have to work on peace. We have to work on a roadmap for peace. But first, whatever military targets they need to achieve them very quickly. This cannot last for long and cannot take forever. And that's what he has been saying. And that's what he means by do it quickly or get the job done quickly. It's just finish those military targets that you have to do, achieve those, and let's move to peace, and let's move to rebuilding Gaza and rebuilding Lebanon. We want Gaza to be prosperous. We want the Palestinian people to be prosperous, to live in peace, to live in harmony, side by side with the Israelis in full security on both sides. Same thing with Lebanon. We want Lebanon to prosper again. I haven't been back to my own native country, my home country, for many years because of this situation. I would love to go back. I would love for my own children to go back to Lebanon. Lebanon used to be known as the Switzerland of the Middle East, and Beirut was the Paris of the Middle East. We want this to come back. The Lebanese people are fed up. Yes.
I just wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, about happier news as well. Obviously, offering congratulations to your son Michael and to Tiffany as well on the news of their baby. It's another grandchild, obviously, for Donald Trump. How is he bearing up? Talk of him being exhausted. He's obviously in his late 70s. For the family as well, you know, how tiring is this? This is the third time of asking. They've been taken on this journey with him to be the president again. You know, how tough is everybody finding it?
Oh, thank you. First of all, thank you very much. And it was indeed great news. And what a beautiful way to announce it to the world by the president. It was really nice. Look, with regards to your question, you're right. It's not easy. It's a full-time job. And he didn't have to do this. But the energy that this great man has is just unparalleled. It's unbelievable. He has much more energy than any of us. This guy works almost 24 hours a day. It's a non-stop move. He's on the move. He's non-stop working. He does sometimes 3 or 4 events a day, rallies and events. He does numerous press conferences and interviews. He does conferences by phone and phone calls. It's a continuous work all day long, and he has a great energy. And he didn't have to do this. He's a billionaire. He could have been retired. He could have been on any beach now, enjoying his time with his beautiful wife and beautiful family and beautiful grandkids, and just resting. But he's doing this for America. He's doing this for the world. I'm in contact with many people all over the world.
He's not doing it to stay out of prison.
Oh, absolutely not. This issue of prison came because he's running. It didn't come, it wouldn't have come otherwise. It came because they're weaponizing the justice system.
And what about you, Dr. Boulos? Fancy a run at the White House yourself, yes or no?
Oh, my aim is just to help my country, to help Lebanon, to help the Middle East in any way I can. I'm a U.S. citizen, so I'm also here to serve my country in any way I can help or assist. That's all I'm aiming for. I have no other ambitions.
Dr. Massad Boulos, great to have you on the show. Thank you for your thoughts. Very interesting. Thank you.